guys, how you doing? It is La5ty here. Welcome to Sunday. Welcome to Random Pick Day. I hope you're all having a lovely weekend, relaxing and just chilling out on your Sunday, watching some random picks. So I've got hopefully a good episode for you today. I enjoyed making it anyway, which is a very important part of all of this stuff, right? But I've gone 50k to 100k, special items, and we're going to go between defenders, midfielders and attackers for our 3 players. On page number 3, it turns out that the highest rated player and the player that I find most interesting and want to use is Carvajal, 90 rated Carvajal from Real Madrid. I think he looks like a beast. Let's give him a shot, right? We then move up the category from defender to midfielder, go to page number 5, and it's a toss-up to me between these 2 team of the season players, Nzonzi or Seri. But eventually I've decided to go for the Ivory Coast midfielder because he's a member of Club 80 and I've not actually used him yet, and I think he could be a great player on this game. One that we definitely need to try out. He's a cheaper one as well, so you guys might be quite interested for your squads. And then on page like number 17, eventually we get these strikers. Now, it's not the greatest pool of players in my opinion, but the most interesting one to me is Fekir. I do hold this particular card like quite close to my heart. He's a very, very good player. Any chance I get to use him, yeah, you know I'm gonna pick him because he's been a beast for me. Like on the road to glory and stuff back in the day, he was a complete beast. Just such a great player on this game. Let's see if he still cuts it against like team of the season teams and stuff like that, now that obviously the bar has risen quite a bit. So today I'm going to be playing in this 4-2-3-1 formation. It's all like central cards, no wingers or anything like that. And we're going to go right back, right cam and striker for my players. Now right cam might seem like a very odd position for Seri, but this team is going to be built and then changed in-game to the 4-1-2-1-2, and he will be playing in a centre mid role, which I think is probably his best position, right? So this is the whole team, and it's super colourful. 9 out of the 11 players are all special items, and some pretty colourful players here. We've got De Gea in goal, Nacho Fernandez reward winner Tots, and Pink FUTWIZ 87 Chris Smalling as my centre-backs. What a duo that is. Looks to be incredible, very colourful, and that, how good does that pink and gold look? I've got to say, it does look very, very good in game. We've got Luke Shaw at left back today, who is probably like the weak link in the whole team, but he's still pretty solid in my opinion. And then our first random pick player is 90 rated Carvajal. He's got 87 pace and dribbling, as well as 85 passing, 89 physical and 90 defending. Like for a right back, I think those are pretty much perfect stats. If he was just a tiny bit taller or a tiny bit quicker, either one, he would be like literally game changing on this game. We then got 87 Casemiro and 91 Dele Alli making their way into the team. 2 really solid midfielders. Add a third solid midfielder to that in Cyprian in team of the season in midfield. Again, he's going to be playing in a slightly different position once we change the formation around in game. We've then got my SBC Lacazette making his way into the team, who will be up as a striker with Fekir. But Jean-Michel or John-Michael Seri, Ivory Coast centre midfielder from, oh my god, I've forgotten the team. Who is that? Is it Nice? I feel bad if that's a completely wrong team. But he's our second random pick player, member of Club 80, looks to be so good. He's just a little bit short. Nabil Fekir, I've just talked about him a little bit, you know, superb player on this game, 4-star skills, crazy dribbling and shooting, and he's got strength about him as well, which is what takes him from like here all the way up to here. Crazy player on this game, and just overall, that's what the team looks like. Now, I did mention about a formation change in-game to get these players into the right positions. This is what it will look like when I play in-game with it. So Fekir and Lacazette up front, that's just golden, right? 91 Dele Alli at cam, that's going to work really well. Casemiro in CDM, and then we've got Cyprian and Seri as my 2 centre midfielders, and you know that's just going to work very well. 2 members of Club 80, of course. And I've got to say, I had a lot of fun playing the games, which doesn't necessarily always happen on the random pick. Sometimes I'll like play 4 or 5 games, absolutely hate it, but score a lot of goals, and that like gives me a false sense of, oh, this player was good, this player was terrible. Or sometimes I'll play like 10 games because I'm not scoring goals, absolutely hate it, and then have a really negative review or opinion on the players that I used. But today was one of those days where once I did change formation, got those players into the right positions, it just clicked. Like Lacazette on the right hand side of the strike force with that right foot, Fekir on the left with the left foot. Dele Alli with like 93 shooting at central attacking midfield. He was a complete revelation for this team, by the way. It was odd that from Cam, he scored like the most goals out of anyone in my team. Granted, he was up there as the highest rated player, I'm pretty sure, in my entire squad. But he just does the business. Obviously, the purple card is exactly the same as his team of the season, or the red version of the 91, whichever one that you may have or would look to get on this game. Of course, the only one you can actually purchase is the blue team of the season. And actually, that's the one I think that looks the best. I do think that the blue Dele Alli and the blue Kante, actually, after a little while of thinking about it, do look better than both the purple versions. The only reason I got the purple versions is because we weren't sure what the ratings were going to be. And one, we got them like a month earlier before TOTS, so we've been having these crazy players on the game for ages. And actually, with their dynamic images in like the tuxedos with the trophies, they do look really quite cool, and they're a very different item on this game. So yeah, very happy that I do have the 91 version of Dele Alli. I think in future FIFAs he's going to be a monster. He's going to be one of those players that's like definitely in your Premier League team because there's so much potential for him, right? Hopefully he does well in the years to come. As an England fan, more than anything, you know, like, have a great player for our nation. That would just be fantastic. I did score that with him, which I've got to say is one of the finer goals I've scored. And that was on a, I think he's got a 3-star weak foot. I'm not 100% on that. It might be 4-star. But that's a ridiculous goal to score on the volley or on the half volley with a weak foot from distance against Gigi Buffon. So GG Buffon, I just absolutely annihilated you. Then we move on to the goals that we did get with our main striker, that is Fekir. I would say that he was involved in a lot of goals, but not necessarily sticking all of them away. Like, we'll come away with a like 1 goal to game ratio with this player, which is still pretty solid. I don't mind that at all. But overall, it could have gone a little bit better. I think it just so happened that Dele Alli sort of stole the show, and in these tense games, this team like qualified me as well for the weekend league. We played the 4 games in the daily knockout and beat everyone, and we came up against some solid teams. And right in the final, like, Dele Alli was the one which just really came clutch for me. Scored a goal when I was 1-0 down in like the 85th minute to take me to extra time, and then Dele Alli scored the 120th minute winner in the final to really sink it to my opponent, who'd been playing park the bus for quite a long time. So that felt very, very good. So yeah, he sort of stole the show a little bit, which is maybe is going to take a little bit away from my overall review of these players. But it's time to go through that now and talk about how I think everyone got on. Now, you can't really go wrong with David De Gea in goal. I've heard some terrible things about his team of the season version, but I love this 90 rated regular gold. I think he's great. Like, he's probably the best keeper in the game, although I haven't used much of Neuer this year. Luke Shaw, yeah, fantastic player for the rating and stuff that he is. And then Nacho Fernandez and Chris Smalling was literally a dreamy centre-back duo. Smalling is tall and quick. Nacho Fernandez just is scrappy and gets everywhere, super quick as well. And I think they worked really well together. And then Carvajal at right back is nearly as good as you're going to get as well. In terms of, like, La Liga anyway. I think Kyle Walker and stuff are probably better players, and a 4-star value for money because he is still relatively expensive for what is like a card with some pretty good stats but not game-breaking stats. So an 8 out of 10 for him as well. What more, you know, you can't really rate a right back like 10 out of 10 because they don't get that involved, right? But Casemiro and Dele Alli did the business for me. Cyprian is also a great hard-working midfielder. Lacazette's great up front. You know, there's not much you really need to say about these guys. Lacazette with 30 goals in 29 games in 40 games, 29 assists in 40 games for me, has been one of the better players I've used this year. Now, Seri, I'm going to give a bit of a higher rating because as much as you never really saw any clips of him because he didn't score a goal for me, 4.5-star value for money because of his price, and an 8.5 out of 10. He's a little bit short, but he works his arse off in game. It's crazy how much, like, interceptions. He's like a Kante in the French Ligue 1. I love him. A great, great player. Highly recommend him. And then the same exact rating for Fekir. I would like to rate him slightly higher, but I think, as I said, I think the show was slightly stolen from him by Dele Alli, who literally outperformed him and scored more goals from Cam than he scored from striker. So overall, a fun team. This team played very, very well. Once you change that formation in game, it's nearly perfect, right? If anything, I would love to just upgrade that left back to somebody else, but I think we would drop chemistry by doing that. Not even sure who we could put in there. I just want Marcos Alonso, but I don't think it's going to work because Dele Alli would be off chem. Overall, I hope you've enjoyed today's random pick episode, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday, a lovely final day of your weekend before going back to school or work or whatever it is you do. Have a good one. Smash a thumbs up on the video if you're feeling kind. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.